Hello and welcome to this year's final episode of Boost News. We have a very special show for you today, so sit back and relax while we update you on this week's top news and current affairs. In today's episode, I'm joined by my fantastic and talented panel to discuss Centrelink and their ongoing changes, how university students deal with stress, and upcoming events on the Gold Coast. So to liven things up on today's packed episode, we have joining me on my right, Dominique and Leonie. How are you guys?
Hi Jess, good, thank you.
Yeah, and how was your weekend?
It was really good until I watched the Wallabies lose yesterday afternoon. Our World Cup campaign is over.
Very disappointing for a lot of people out there. And we can't forget the rest of our amazing panel. Joining me on my left, we have Georgia and Chris. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Chris, I heard you just came back from Bali. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I did actually. Had a good time. It was the first time I left Australia.
Really?
Yeah, first time I got back in and they let me through. So it was
generally a bonus.
with a bamboo hat. I was surprised to find out there was a very small article in the Jakarta Post I read. I was very surprised to find out that such a small article about a 14-year-old boy being held for marijuana possession was such a big news.
It was huge news
massive,
over here.
yeah.
I came here thinking, oh, and then suddenly everyone's talking about it. I was like, wow.
So they had
Nobody talked
nothing
about
about
it over. Not really.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
Did you do much else over there? Like go see the monkey forest and all that sort of
Went
stuff?
to the monkey forest
Yeah.
and I even tried to do the Wookiee growl on the monkeys, but they tried to take my eyes out for some reason.
It's a Wookiee growl.
Great party trick.
Back on with the show, we have Leonie who's reading the news.
Thanks Jess, and Qantas strikes are expected to worsen after the airline announced yesterday that they would not back down from the pay dispute with Jetstar. Qantas CEO Alan Joyce said that it was both unrealistic and damaging for Jetstar pilots to receive the same high wages as the airline. So far, over 60,000 passengers have been affected by the strikes, which have caused major flight delays. Australian consumers have reported being hit with the false carbon tax levy since its announcement just last week. The ACCC said that they would issue nationwide guidelines of price increases in the future. Chairman Rod Sims said that if they had received reports of cab drivers already adding a carbon tax levy and vowed to stop consumers from being ripped off by false taxes. A leading race car driver, Dan Weldon, due to compete in this weekend's Gold Coast 600, has been killed in a horrific car crash in Las Vegas. The 33-year-old was a two-time Indy 500 winner and the defending V8 Supercars Series champion. The Queen and Prince Philip will visit Australia this week and will be in Brisbane over the weekend. The English royals will also make the trip to Canberra and Melbourne before opening the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Perth. And to sport now, New Zealand All Blacks have defeated the Wallabies over the weekend to make the Rugby World Cup final. The All Blacks had a 14-point lead on the Wallabies and will now go on to play France this Sunday. Not all hope was lost for Australia as they had a whopping win over the New Zealand in the Rugby League. The Kangaroos defeated New Zealand with a 42-6 victory in Darren Lockyer's final match on Australian soil.
Thanks for the update, Leonie.
Thanks, Jess.
So many university students are affected by the changes Centrelink make for benefit improvements, and some would argue its success. It's so often brought to the attention of taxpayers that there are some people on the dole and other government benefits who take advantage of the system. Let's take a look at this short clip.
I am working, I'm working on me tan. A bad day at the beach beats a good day at work. That's what I always say. It is the best office in the world. Every day is the ultimate holiday. You can make it like that for yourself. Thank God for Centrelink, because come Thursday morning, your rent's still going to be paid.
The question now is, have people like this made it more difficult for struggling families and students to gain access to Centrelink benefits? What do you guys think about this?
Yes, I think he just personifies what we recognise as the ultimate doll bodger.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because people like him that are not actually adding in any way or enriching their community are taking money away from students such as Leonie's a master's student.
And I don't get nowhere near as much money as what the Byron Bay blodger does.
Yeah, so people that are going out there and trying to benefit, you know, their community, trying to further educate themselves are being punished because people like that are going on the dole long term without any hope of actually gaining any further employment. I think that if you're going to go on the dole long term, that Centrelink and the government should be forcing courses, you know, TAFE things, trades, so that you should be having to adopt some kind of skill so that you're not reliant on this nanny state.
Exactly. I think his famous quote there was, "I'm working on my tan."
Oh.
Not cool. But there's a guy, Gareth Pretty, he's 21 years old, and he's been on Centrelink for 4 years, and he can't find a job. Here he is now, it's a picture of him. And he has a university degree, and you know, he's obviously been searching, or he's maybe waiting for Centrelink to help him find a job. What do you guys think about this? Does this ring any bells?
Can I just say something? That photograph of Gareth, he looked really, really happy to be in front of Centrelink.
Extremely, like enthralled, yeah. Centrelink's doing wonders for him.
I think it just goes to show how much we really, really appreciate it. And that it's enough. Because, yeah. Anyway, but basically he's 21 years old. He's been on Centrelink for 4 years, has a degree, can't find a job. That pretty much sums me up. It's kind of sad, actually.
Well, do you think the government should be doing more to, you know, get people who are on the dole or in the Centrelink rut to go and find a job?
No, I don't think it's up to the government at all. It's up to the individual. I mean, if you're willing to show the initiative to go out there and find a job, do work experience, do internships to get yourself there, then, you know, it's up to you. If you're just going to sit down and wait for it to be served to you on a platter, then that's your own fault.
That's not really a good metaphor. I don't know. It's just that there's clearly a problem there. So many students are stuck in a rut, and hey, the government have placed an investment in them with HEX, right? Don't they want some of that money back?
Well, it's not realistic. I mean, the amount of students that are going into the institutions of universities, how is it realistic that there's going to be enough jobs for them when they come out?
Yeah, and we were talking about this before, and you might be working in a field such as like being a business economist, and there's not a lot of jobs for those people on the Gold Coast.
They can't sustain
It's
that.
not what our industry is about.
Well,
You're going to have to move.
on the Gold Coast at the moment, unemployment has gone up to 8.1% and it's climbing.
That's why all these university students...
and people like Gareth just living the dream at home. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He just wants to stay with his mum.
Yeah, if you were really invested in finding a job, you would actually go, you would leave your hometown, you would go nationwide. And as we were discussing earlier, nationwide unemployment rates are actually decreasing by over 5%.
Exactly. It's a motivational thing, I think. If you want to make something of your life, you will. And if you're willing to just sit back and wait for old love to do it for you behind the Centrelink counter, then
wow.
wow.
Chris, are you going to, will you move to look for a job? Or will you just...
definitely if anyone will take a journalist student, but apparently I'll go anywhere in Australia, but apparently it's a lot more difficult further out anyway.
And it's the emphasis on experience as well. You've got to have a great deal of experience.
You do, so you've got to really fit in the working while studying, and you've got to fit in all that experience. You've got to throw in so many priorities.
As much as you can, yeah.
Well, there is so much we could bring up on such a complex issue, but it's time for a short break, and we will be right back after this. Welcome back everyone, you are watching Boost News. As students come to the end of the year, they face countless assessments and the stress can be unbearable, but there are some who don't feel it quite as much as others. Do you guys get stressed and how do you deal with it?
This is a don't do this one at home kids. I'm a crammer. I don't do anything all semester, and then when it comes to the crunch time, I have to be locked in my house and not allowed to go anywhere.
And for those of you that don't know, Leonie's a master's student, so she's not only done 3 years of her undergrad like this, she's,
Well, Dominique, you speak very strongly. You obviously don't do this.
I'm a planner. I'm very OCD. I like to write lists. I like everything organised, and I like to break it up into sections. So no, lots of planning involved.
Well, hopefully everyone can take a leaf out of your book. I know I can. What about you guys? What do you do to deal with stress?
I honestly don't think I'm a very stressing person. I don't really stress about that many things. Probably having nothing to wear is probably the most stressful event in my life. But as for studying and stuff like that, I mean, if you've got to get an assignment done, you do. I'm definitely a crammer. I do leave everything to the last minute. But one of my lecturers actually told me some wise words, which I very much live by. And he said, you know, if you can't whip up an assignment the night before, then why are you in the journalism industry? And I was like, bam, now I live by that.
Well, Chris, a psychologist is saying that stress is actually related to depression, sorry. And what do you think about this?
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to talk about there in regards to that. I don't see a psychologist myself. I think though there's a bit of...
Would you see a psychologist or anything
Probably,
if you were dealing with too much stress?
They're kind of expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true.
And going to see a psychologist takes time and it takes money, and isn't it the whole point of why you're stressed in the first place?
Yeah, exactly.
Uni students, woo!
Yeah, time management is the key.
Exactly. The
so.
fact that we've all made it through our degrees shows that we've actually got what it takes, and it's all about time management, breaking it up into manageable portions so it's not overwhelming, so you don't have that sense of stress and breakdown at the end of the semester.
The way I look at it as well is if everything is going to work out, this sounds like I'm all real hippie and stuff, but I'm not, but everything will work out, so there's no point in stressing because you're just making it more work for yourself. If you've got 5 things due, then say put them in order of which is due when or whatever it is, and do it and it'll get done. It's fine.
To be honest, I can't even remember most of my essays and the topics and what I've learnt.
Oh, neither can I.
Sometimes I'll look back and go, wow, I did put that essay in. I can't remember the word.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I hope this has helped some uni students who are watching today, but unfortunately we have to wrap it up and we'll be back after this break. Welcome back and thank you for joining us. You are watching Boost News. For our last segment today, we will be discussing the latest and best events to reach the Gold Coast this summer. Many events have earned the Gold Coast a vast reputation as the party capital of Australia, like Schoolies and the Gold Coast 600. But with changes to these events and a possible loss of the Parklands venue for other events like Big Day Out and Good Vibrations, will the Gold Coast lose its appeal? What do you guys think about this?
To an extent, yeah. I know that Parklands is renowned for having Big Day Out and Good Vibes and stuff like that, and I think it will lose a bit. But
do you enjoy the festivals?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know Leonie attended Good Vibrations last year. I heard it was a big flop. What did you think?
I don't think so. I think that I had a really good time, and I think that if the people are there for the music, they're there to have fun. So
and you went on a 2-for-1 ticket.
Yeah, it was 2-for-1. So I tagged along as someone's date and just brought him drinks all afternoon to make up for the ticket.
Are you going to any this year?
Yes, I've already got my Big Day Out ticket for January 2012.
Oh, that should be fun.
It'll be very fun, yeah.
And Chris, Gold Coast 600 coming up this weekend. Bikini girls have been axed. What do you think?
No, yeah. I had the whole setup. I was going to turn up there with my bamboo hat and a bow, but I was going.
And
they wouldn't have stood a chance.
And your stubbies and your VV singlet and Southern Cross tattoo.
Oh, it's a little stereotype, but yeah.
Big chops down the side of your face. Beautiful.
Australian pride it up.
Yeah.
But Movember, are you doing that?
Yeah. This year I am. I do every year, but normally every year I cheat and start like a month earlier because.
Are you going to do it this year for charity and actually help with the cause, which is prostate cancer at the end of the day?
And serious moment here, no pun intended. It's just Movember. What it's about is, it's creating awareness that men's health. It's serious, and men's depression. There's cancer, of course, that's what it's about, but also 4 times more men are likely to commit suicide, and that's what.
And I heard that I think there's about a 5-year age gap between the life expectancy of men and women. That women live an extra 5 years than men.
I believe women it's 82.
Best 5 years of our life, isn't it?
Nice.
Well, if women want to contribute, there's also an event in October for women. though it's a little bit late this year, Frocktober, which is to help ovarian cancer for women. So it's kind of like the female version, and all that it's involving is raising money by wearing one of your best dresses every day of the month.
And speaking of getting dressed up, spring festivals, spring races coming up. Is anybody getting dressed up? Chris, you getting a hat?
Bamboo hat, oh yeah. Haven't really thought any further than that. Yeah, going to the races.
I love the races. I love getting dressed up and going out and finding those really big, extravagant hats that you can't wear at any other education.
One of my style icons will actually be in Australia for this year's Derby Day. Dita Von Teese, I don't know if any of you have heard of her, but she's going to be down in Melbourne. Yeah, she's launching a new clothing line, so she's going to be down there for Derby Day.
Well, the races are also on at the Gold Coast Turf Club. They start November 1, so everyone should get on down there.
What about you, Georgia? You can come into the good old tavern where I work, and this is my day. Oh, tab tickets all day long, which is, you know, exactly how I would choose to spend my Melbourne Cup.
It doesn't sound too fun.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But speaking of gambling, do you guys think that this is a problem?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Melbourne Cup is definitely an exception. Yeah. I think everybody gambles on Melbourne Cup. If you're 5 years old, your dad puts your ticket on for you or whatever, things like that. It's an absolute exception, I think.
Well, the total gambling expenditure in Australia for this year was $19 billion, and we only have 20 million people in Australia. So it's a lot of money to go on gambling, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's hectic.
Not me. I had a good win on the races on the weekend, so hopefully I can continue that on to Derby Day and keep winning.
Oh,
on a winning roll, right?
Something like that.
So, schoolies.
Yeah, well, I heard
What do you think about schoolies? I can't stand it as a local. I'm just like, avoid the towns, avoid all the screaming teenagers.
I think now that I'm a bit older and quite mature, that I've realised I don't know why you'd want to spend all that money to come to Surfers Paradise. It's possibly one of the worst places that I've ever been on a Saturday night.
I mean, you have all your friends it's like you all live there, and it's so fun. I love schoolies. I was so ill. I remember I had, I'm not speaking like that. I mean, I had throat infection, ear infection. I burst all the blood vessels in my eyes.
Oh my God.
Wow. And I just told everyone I had pink eye because it was really funny. I had bright red eyes. It was so funny.
How is pink eye better than that?
Just to freak people out, you know. I'm all about the shock factor.
So will you be a toolie this year?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Gosh, no.
I should. Bamboo hat, Mo. I won't look silly at all.
Sorry. You'd be great.
Not at all.
Well, I'm excited to hear that a great deal of uni students or school students are apparently spending their graduation over in Thailand and Bali.
They are. But all of these events, including Movember, look like a great way to enjoy summer. And we could talk about them forever, but this is all we have time for today and brings us to the end of the last show for the year. You can find all of our shows on YouTube at Broadcast Griffith and can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We welcome any feedback. Thank you, panel, for joining us, and thank you to everyone watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. And just before we leave, I'd like to invite everyone behind the scenes to join us on camera to say goodbye.
Go to the wide.
Bye! We need a music!